Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another big exciting day in my kitchen. Where are we going today? We're gonna go to southern Italy. What are we making? Now listen, I see all these other people put this recipe online, and I think it's great and it's fantastic. My recipe is obviously a little better, and you'll see that, but I'm like, wait a minute, everybody's putting olive oil cake. I own a grove. I own an olive tree farm in Italy, make our own olive oil, bring it to the United States. I'm like, why aren't we putting out our olive oil cake recipe? So that's what we're doing today, guys. We're gonna make an olive oil cake recipe. All right, so what do you guys say? Let's go over ingredients. Let's start having some fun. First ingredient you're gonna need is 1.5 cups of flour, and we want either all-purpose flour or a cake or pastry flour. It's a finer grind. You're also gonna have lower protein, so it's gonna make it lighter and silkier and more tender when you make the cake. You're not going to build up a lot of gluten. Next, you're going to need sugar. So we're going to use 1 cup of granulated sugar. Now we want to add our leavening agent. We want it light and airy. So you're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Salt adds sweetness, especially if you're doing Sicilian flaky sea salt, because it's sexy. And you know, I'm part Sicilian, so you know what I'm saying. So we want 1/2 of a teaspoon of some sexy Sicilian salt. Now we want to add consistency, some structure to our batter, and we want to add flavor. So what you're going to need are 3 eggs. I want cage-free, range-free, organic eggs. There's a lot of fat in eggs, so it's going to add structure for sure, but it's going to add a lot of flavor. So you get that organic, free range. It's going to add some deliciousness to the cake. Next, guys, remember we're in southern Italy, so we're going to want to add some citrus. So either through an orange or lemon. So I've made it with lemon, I've made it with orange, I've made it with a mixture of both. Today we're going to use an orange only. Gosh, that's delicious. So we're going to add 3 tablespoons of an orange and the zest of the entire orange. You'll need some powdered sugar. I got 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar. We're going to use that to decorate the top. So we're not going to add that to the batter. We're going to use that to finish the cake off. Now I like to have the cake a little bit warm. I don't know about you. So I like to put a little whipped cream on the cake. So if that sounds good to you and you're like, wow, Joe, I would love to do that myself, you're going to want to add 1 cup of whipping cream, and then you're going to add a little vanilla, and you're going to use a little bit of that powdered sugar to sweeten your whipping cream. I just think you're missing out if you're not using whipped cream. Call me crazy, I'm just saying. Now I'm going to get into some little secrets that make my cake the best, world's best cake. I know that's humble of me. World's best orange olive oil cake, okay? 1, you're gonna wanna add some buttermilk. So buttermilk or a Greek yogurt, it's gonna add that, that thickness, but it adds that little bit of tang. That's why I love the buttermilk. It adds a little bit of a tang, almost like a cheesy tang to the flavor of the cake. So it gives it another layer of flavor. Remember, we're in southern Italy. Trade routes coming through, a lot of spices. So what I love to add, it's just a little bit. You wouldn't even taste it to know it's there, but it gives you that earthy flavor, that spicy flavor in the backdrop, and that's a little bit of nutmeg. Anybody that watches our show knows nutmeg is my favorite spice. So we're gonna add a breath of it, like a 1/16 of a teaspoon, a couple of swipes. I'm telling you, it's gonna be good. Now listen, I know you're thinking, Joe, wait, what about the olive oil? I know, I was holding up to the last bit. I got it. So we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of extra virgin Italian olive oil. God, that is grassy and it's earthy and it's peppery. And I know you're thinking, Joe, where would I get some great olive oil? I'm glad you asked that question. I know this guy. I got a guy. And he owns a farm in Italy, and he actually co-ops with a whole group of farms in that area to bring you some real, authentic, extra virgin olive oil. You know what I'm saying? And now you're thinking, what's it look like? How do I get it? I get it. So we got a large and a small bottle. I have 2 sons, Vito and Joe. That's a picture of the Borio family, okay, my dad and my grandparents and such. So where do you get it? You go right on my website, my Facebook page, my Instagram, the description below. Just click buy it now. We'll drop ship you a few bottles right to your front doorstep. I always think of it as taking a trip to Italy right in a bottle. Is that everything? No, it's not everything. You need the oven preheated 350 degrees. You want a 9-inch cake pan. You're gonna want some parchment to put in the bottom. That way it doesn't stick. Little trick. This is one of those neat ones that just comes up through. It's not the spring form. Either one will work. I just like this one better. You'll need a couple of bowls, 1 to mix the batter fully in, 1 to cream the sugar and the eggs, a zester, a whip, and a spatula. You gotta have some Frank Sinatra playing in the background. Dean Martin will work, Mel Torme, Tony Bennett, I hear you. You know, I mean, if you're really feeling Italiana, you know what I'm saying? You could go with a little Jerry Vale. That's not a bad decision either. I know, enough for chatting. Let's get to cooking. First thing, let's cream our eggs. So we're going to take our 3 eggs. We've got a glass bowl, so I want to do that first so I can put my eggs in the bowl just to make sure that I don't get any shells. Make sure my egg is in good shape. I'm going to take my whisk and give it a good whip. Now I'm adding my 1 cup of sugar. Now I want to do what they call cream the eggs. So I want to give this a nice gentle whip until it starts to get light yellow and frothy, which is going to take about 2 to 3 minutes. So I know what you're thinking, hey, why don't you use power mixers or blenders? And I'm not saying that's never a bad idea. I remember when I was a little kid with Nona and we were in the kitchen, she said, Joe, you know, sometimes in the kitchen when you're cooking, the point isn't to get it over with as fast as possible. And I always thought about that, you know, because you would see my grandmother and my sisters, my dad, whatever, and they would spend time around the table enjoying themselves, telling stories while they cooked. And I think that's something that got lost. So not to sound like you know, an old fuddy-duddy here, but I see a lot of these videos on TikTok and Reel and such, and I know that's kind of where the world's going, but it's kind of sad because I think sometimes we lose the fun of spending time with each other. And one way you guys can do that is if you give me a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and hit that subscribe button. The thumbs up will help share our videos with other people, and the subscribe button makes you part of the Cooking Italian with Joe family, you know? So anything we got going on the farm, anything we got going on with blogging with Borio, any new recipes, any new trips, it'll come right to your notification box. And like I tell you guys every week, it really means the world to me when you subscribe to the channel. As far as my olive oil goes, I won't plug it because that's kind of the theme of today's video anyway. It's been about 3-4 minutes. That's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to gently add my buttermilk. So give that a nice mix. It's time, guys. Vito and Joe's. I'm going to go ahead and add my 3/4 cup of the best olive oil on the planet. Oh, extra virgin Italian. There it is. Now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and add my zest of the orange. The aroma of that is fantastic. Give that a good stir. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of orange. So I go ahead and just grab a tablespoon, give it a squeeze. There's 1, 2, 3. Now we'll give that a good stir. Let those flavors marry. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. Now, guys, I'm grabbing my mixing bowl for my dry ingredients. 1.5 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I know what you're thinking, Joe, you forgot about the nutmeg. No, I didn't. I'd say at least 1/16 teaspoon, which is about 5 swipes. If you like nutmeg, I'm gonna go a little bit more. There's our flavor of Sicily. Go ahead and take your whisk, give that a nice stir. Now, guys, the easiest way to do this is go ahead and grab your wet ingredients and add just a little bit of flour to your wet ingredients. Give it a stir. If you add the wet ingredients to your dry ingredients, it just creates a clump. Add the rest to your flour. The consistency of that is just beautiful. Now, guys, we're gonna do a nice slow stir here for about a minute, minute and a half. Guys, I wanna give you a really important tip. So in this case, I tell you to wait at least 15 minutes, even longer, maybe 30 minutes, and let the flour hydrate. You're always gonna get a better result. So just go ahead and pour it in your pan. Boom. Oh, does that look good or what? See all that orange zest in there? Oh, you gotta get a spatula because I want every little drop out of there. Just give it a little tap, get that air out. Now we're gonna throw it in our preheated oven, 350 degrees for approximately 30 minutes. So I'm always gonna tell you, set your timer for about 10 minutes. Look at it, make sure everything's cooking evenly. Every oven has a little different personality. Maybe turn it a few times. We're looking for just the beginning of a golden brown on the top. Then we know we're done. We're gonna put it out, rack it, let it cool. And then obviously favorite time we're gonna eat it. We gotta decorate it, make whipped cream, and then eat it. All right, I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes. Guys, we're gonna make the whipped cream. I'm gonna throw a couple ingredients in there that I didn't list initially. You don't have to add them, but this really adds a massive kick to it. So I got my 1 cup of chilled heavy cream, whipping cream, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. We've got our 3.5 tablespoons of powdered sugar. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of the powdered sugar to my whipping cream. And then we're gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of orange extract. Oh, is that gonna be good? So now you're getting layer after layer of orange sugar flavor. Yeah, I know. It's awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and add that cream, and now I'm gonna go ahead and start whipping that. I want just the beginnings of some structure, guys, here before I add any of my extracts or sugar. Guys, it's been about 2 minutes. I got some good structure in the whipped cream. I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of the sugar, add your vanilla, add your orange extract, and go ahead and start whipping. Guys, we're almost there. Stiff peak's only been another minute or so. I'll go another 30 seconds. We don't wanna make butter here, so I like it soft. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that right in the refrigerator. First off, the aroma in the kitchen. Delicious. You got orange, you got olive oil, you got all these gorgeous flavors, caramelized sugar. Okay, so there's our finished product that I just took out. It's still warm, obviously. I can hold it. So I want to get that out and I want to put it on our plate. So I'm going to put it on our Mackenzie Child plate, of which I'm an affiliate for. You guys want to grab one of those, just go ahead and hit the link below. So I'm just going to take a knife. Remember, we put that paper on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and take this, put it upside down. I'm going to pull it. It's heavy and dense. Beautiful. And then I want to take that paper off, which will peel right off. I'm going to go ahead and just center it right on my plate here. Is that gorgeous or what? It's time for decoration. So what I like to do is it's cool enough on the top. So I'm going to take my powdered sugar, and you could do some fun things. You know, often you'll see, oh, rosemary. Oh, I love this aroma of rosemary. It's so delicious. So you can put like a little sprig of that just to kind of decorate it. So I'm going to do something basic, fun, and simple. I'm going to go ahead and take my powdered sugar and I'm going to go ahead and hit the top of the cake. Now I like to leave it all the way across. I'll tell you why. I want the first flavor to be sweet. So I recommend to do a heavy dusting. I like to leave it all around the side. Perfect. And that's how simple I'm going to do it. I'm going to do just a beautiful sprig of rosemary along the side. That, my friends, is an olive oil cake. All right, so what do you say? Let's open this puppy up. Favorite time, taste time. Big question, guys. How big do we go with the piece? All right, I'm going there. That's what I'm doing. And again, it's still kind of warm. Oh, how delicious is that? Are you guys with me? Is that gorgeous or what? I know what you're thinking. Joe, don't forget about your whipped cream. It's warm. I'm not going to forget about that. Oh, okay. I just want to show you. See how perfect that is? Yeah, I want that perfect bite right there. You guys with me on that? Oh, is that awesome or what? Okay, here we go. First off, orange. I mean, you just get orange. You get the olive oil. They're caramelized sugar. It's so good. My mouth is watering. You ready? So soft. You know what kills you? The sweetness, the powdered sugar gets you sweet, and then you get that thick, dense, cakey deliciousness. The texture of the cake, which is orange, but it cuts with that whipped cream. So you got layers of orange sweetness. It's so rich and so thick and dense, but light at the same time. It's crazy. The flavors, it just oozes with orange. You're getting a little bit of the olive oil, a little bit of the sugar. I love that the cake flavored with orange and sweetness, and then the whipped cream flavor with the orange. Again, it's just layer after layer. It's so tender and delicate and soft and thick and rich and velvety. Oh my gosh, it's so good. That's what the oil does. You know, my mother used to make like a mayonnaise cake when we were kids. It was so great. So that oil, that fat just creates that tenderness. Thinking a latte right now would be perfect to cut this with. Guys, thanks for joining me today, and let me highlight some extra virgin Italian Vito and Joe's olive oil. I know what you're thinking. I want to make the cake and I want that olive oil. So don't forget to visit us on our webpage or Instagram, the description below, YouTube. Grab yourself a few bottles. Love to ship you some Vito and Joe's right to your front doorstep. Also, I know you're ready to go. Hold on, wait a second. Hit the subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Become part of the family here at Cookin' Italian with Joe. Guys, and my last tip always, and really my most important tip, once a month, a couple times a month, get around the table with your family, share stories, spend some time with your grandparents, your family. You never know how long they're going to be with you guys. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to celebrate your heritage, whatever that might be. But more important than that, guys, you're going to set traditions of love. They're going to last you a lifetime. I know they did for me. Hey, guys, from my kitchen to yours. Until next week, mwah, buon appetito.